name is Adrian Nanchev, and this channel is all about helping you become a remarkable entrepreneur. So click the subscribe button and click on the bell notification below for the latest uploads. Now, how do you go about getting traffic to your e-commerce website? I believe that there are two ways of getting traffic. One is a passive and one is an active. The passive form is what I'm going to talk about, and the active form is essentially Facebook adverts, things that you can measure and check on certain metrics and KPIs. Creating an advert and checking it and putting it out in the world. The passive one, which is essentially just creating content that your customers and your potential customers and other random strangers in the world will give a shit about. When you can create content that people give a shit about, they're more likely to consume it, or more eventually likely to engage with it, and more likely to share it. And the more they consume and the more they engage with, the more likely they are to click on your link, to go to your website and actually buy from you. So I think a damn good way to create content, I know is a damn good way to create content even, is to get traffic to your website even, is to create content en masse that your customers and potential customers give a shit about. Take everything that you know about your product, take everything about it and break it down into different segments. Why is it important? Ask yourself different questions about your product, about the benefits and the solutions that it has. Why is it important? Why is it funny? Why is it memorable? Why is it unique? Pick almost any damn adjective you want and you can ask that about your product and think, why is this important to my customer? I've just started a website called We Want Hemp, which deals with championing hemp's use and essentially, from day one, selling clothing made of hemp or clothing that advocates hemp. The benefit of that is they're a part of a revolution. They're part of making a difference in the world. So help me to make a change and help be part of that change and help fund the change by buying a shirt. When you're selling stuff online, when you create content around what you're going to sell, it helps people to find you on Reddit or Steam It and beyond, or YouTube and etc., or on Google, and find you almost for free even. Just create a content and post it and they come to your website. The more content that you create, the more people are bound to be engaged with you and follow you. And trust in this world of cynicism is very important. It's a very expensive commodity. But why do I say content? You see, people we like to buy stuff, we like to go shopping, but we don't like to be sold to. We like to go into the supermarket or the mall for a whole day, but we don't like salespeople or sales letters coming to us or seeing adverts on YouTube and beyond, or even Facebook. I abandoned the video on Facebook. We don't like seeing adverts. I don't like talking to salespeople and being pitched, but we love to sell. So the idea there is, when you're selling, as an analogy, when you're selling a weed killer to your customers, don't talk about the ingredients on the weed killer. Talk instead about their crabgrass. Join the conversation that's happening inside your customer's head already. When you can join the conversation, the more likely to give a shit about what you're selling, and more likely to give a shit about your content. Every piece of content you create en masse has to pass, I love this, has to pass the so what test. So what? You're selling t-shirts, you're selling clothing, you're selling books. So what? Why should I care? So what? You have to educate people through adverts or through content, active and passive, both will work. But you have to educate people why they should give a shit about what you're selling. So what? You're selling this book that will change your life. So what? I don't care. Tell me why I should care. Why should I care? Why should I care? Why should I care? Answer that question in your content. Embed it into the language, into the story, into the message, into the educational information like this. Why they should give a shit about what you're selling. When they can give a shit about what you're selling, they're more likely to trust you, more likely to buy from you, more likely to engage with you, comment, share, subscribe, and they're more likely to share your content with other people. And that's why it's passive, because you create it up to a certain point, you got control, and then afterwards it's up to the market, it's up to the people in the world that like it and share it and don't like it or don't share it and such. So your prerogative is to create as much content as you can and share it with the world. take everything you know about your product. Imagine a pie diagram even. You break it down, different segments of your product, the benefits, the solutions even, as I said earlier, and ask, why is it important? So let's take the hemp business, the shirt, the vision, championing hemp's use. Why is that important? Because hemp is an underutilized product. Okay, underutilized. Why is that important? Because mankind is not benefiting as much as it can do, or mankind isn't using as much of nature's resources as we could do. Okay, why is that important? Because this is a finite planet. We only have only a limited amount of resources available, and if we used hemp, we'd be having a higher, say, yield on the crops with regards to cellulose for paper and plastics. So hemp can have 1 acre of hemp acreage in sheaves and herd, which is the equivalent of 2.5 acres of trees for the same amount of tonnage on paper. That's it. That information right there, which stems from why is it important, can be amplified for content elsewhere. An infographic, it's a video, it's a blog, it's a little mini book series, it's anything you want. This intellectual property right there, for each stage is in fact, why is it important? A. Why is it important? B. Why is it important? C. Each of those stages can be used to create almost infinite content. Infographics, videos just like this, blogs. Click on the link below, the blog for this video in the description. Everything, it's all intellectual property, it's data, it's just information. That information can be repackaged in different ways, and that's the basis of your content. You've got the thing you're selling, and why is it important? A. Why is it important? B. And do it slightly different. Why is it funny? Why is it revolutionary? Why is it unique? Pick any damn adjective you want in the entire dictionary, but pick one that works. It's a bit of a trial and error, I suppose, because there's so many adjectives. Why is it adroit? Why is it peculiar? Why is it weird? And just make a list of, or a content calendar of all the different kind of things that you can create and work with. Because the more ideas you've got, the more crap you're going to put out in the world, and the more crap you share with the world, the more likely people are going to engage with you, subscribe to you, buy from you, share your content. And that's why it's passive, because you've got control up to a certain point. Once you create it and you share it, get the ball rolling, people are then more likely to give a damn later on when they've read 10 videos or 10 blogs of yours. But that's how you get traffic to your website. You take what you know about your product, you break it down, and you make it so you position it in the world so as to pass the so what test. Everything is about the customer. You have to be totally 100% customer focused. You know how people talk about, you put the customer, employees and the shareholders in that order, or something like that, or the shareholders, employees and customers. The person you put number one priority is the customer, because if their needs aren't satisfied, if they become unhappy, they can get a refund, they can complain. You've got to solve everything about them first. Solve as many problems as you can. Educate your customers. I believe it was Regis McKennis. I believe Regis McKennis once said that the best kind of marketing is educational. So teach your customers, share, give, reciprocity. The more you give to them, you're guilt tripping them into buying from you, and or they'll eventually feel more comfortable to buy from you. They've been exposed to me a dozen times, they're more likely to buy something from me. And do that en masse with 1,000 people, for example, and eventually all feel guilty. That is some nice, I want to say no money down sales. You don't have to pay much, or pay much time, or pay much money to create the content. That's why it's passive again. Because I created it once, a few days ago. I don't remember writing it or doing it, but I've created it. I'm still reaping the rewards. What I like to say is how to be lazy but ambitious. I also like to say, how can I do the work once and get paid forever? Creating content that can be found on YouTube, Evergreen, found on YouTube, or found through Google, or found through Steemit or Reddit. The more people are likely to find it and share it, the better. Because it has a much more internet shelf life, so to speak, as opposed to some seasonal content. You create evergreen content like this, like a how-to video, how to ride a bike, for example, how to drive a car. That's going to be searched for throughout the year. If you search for things like what's the best Christmas gifts, in July, no results, no searches, or very few searches. But come October, November, you're going to get loads of searches. In December, it's going to drop off gently. And then March and February, it's going to be little again. So create evergreen content that people give a shit about. It passes the so what test. It's what you're selling, and you're explaining it to them from different angles. And the more angles you create, the more trust you generate online, en masse. That's the beautiful thing about the internet. You can create stuff for free, and it can be shared across the world. I know a guy that's in telecommunications, deals with mobile phones, or SIM cards even. And I say to them, you're not selling SIM cards, this little plastic piece of paper, this little plastic. You're selling communication. You're selling that moment. You're selling that moment where someone has no internet connection, but they need to make an important phone call, a business deal, or a wife, or his wife's going into labour or something. He needs to make that phone call to know what the hell's going on. You're selling that. That's what he's selling, and that's the so what test to the SIM card. You're selling. Why should people give a shit about SIM cards? Because it creates that moment. It creates that moment of reassurance, that moment of connectivity. Your content has got to pass the so what test. You've got to create content en masse that people can know, like, and trust you. Adverts work, but they're to get traffic. They're here from day one, up here. On a scale of 0 to 10, how much traffic they're going to generate per day, for example, is up here. The more money you spend, the greater than all the rest. But it costs money. The margins could be a lot slimmer, but it's right there. Whereas traffic, from the beginning, it starts off slow and shit. But over time, linear or exponential, hockey curve or whatever, it goes up because people share it. You gain velocity. You get a tipping point online. And when you hit the tipping point, eventually you get more traffic per day from your free content, quote unquote free, than you would have if you just paid for advertisements. Active and passive. But that's my philosophy. Create active in general, but passive content. Passive content generates passive traffic. How cool is that? If you haven't already though, subscribe below, click on the bell notification for the latest uploads, and you'll see me again soon. How cool is that?